Right, I want to show you another factoring technique for trinomials that have a leading coefficient other than 1. This is called factoring by splitting the middle term. Some texts call it the AC method and others call it forced grouping. And we're going to use our calculator to help us during the process. Now, the first thing that we want to do is multiply the first coefficient by the constant coefficient. That's 15 times a negative 16. That gives me a negative 240. So I'll be looking for two numbers that multiply together to be a negative 240. Isn't it true that one of those is going to have to be negative so that we get a negative 240? So you know you can set the sign there. We also want to make sure that those same two numbers will add up together to be our middle coefficient of 34. So now let's go to the y equals on your graphing calculator, and we're going to put in a negative 240 divided by x into the calculator. We want to look at the table. So we're looking at the table, and we see all the answers here. We've got all kinds of numbers we could use, but we want those numbers to add up to our positive 34 here. So as I'm going through, I see here there's a 6 and a negative 40. Those multiplied are negative 240, but they would add up together to be a negative 34. So let's go this way, and you'll see negative 6 times 40 is going to be our negative 240, and our negative 6 plus 40 is our positive 34. So we'll use these numbers to split this middle term. We rewrite it as 15x squared minus 6x plus 40x minus 16. So if we would add these back together, we come back up to the trinomial we started with. We haven't changed anything except to break up that middle term in a very clever way. Now what we do is we take our four terms, we factor by grouping. So here I have a 3x, and I get 5x minus 2. And here, let's see, I've got a plus 8 times 5x minus 2. And now that those two parentheses match, I can use 5x minus 2 to pull out and get a 3x plus 8. And I've factored my trinomial. Another way you can view this is this little box method. So you start the problem the same way, starting with your trinomial. Multiply the first and last coefficients, and you find numbers that multiply to be that number but add up together to be the coefficient of the middle term. Then we're going to use those numbers to break up the middle term, but we're going to write it in the boxes here. So 15x squared minus 6x plus 40x minus 16. And then we're going to take our common factor, our greatest common factor, out this way, and I have a 3x. You'll notice that we have a negative number here, a positive number here. Whenever you're taking out the greatest common factor, you want it to carry the sign of the last box you left. So this last box that we're leaving is a positive, so it'll be a positive 3x that we take out. Here, we're going to take out an 8. Again, it's positive as you're leaving, so it's an 8. And then we're going to take our GCF out this way. And here we have a 5x. And here we have a minus 2. So then you can see your factors there, a 3x plus 8 and a 5x minus 2, and we can write that as our two binomials that factors this original trinomial we were given.